Want to begin just by remembering and honoring our ancestors, those who settled these lands thousands and thousands of years ago, the Monacan tribe, and the paid and unpaid laborers who developed this community over the centuries. I want to acknowledge our Asian ancestors who shared these teachings with us, and to acknowledge IMCC's founding teachers, Pat Coffey, Sharon Beckman Brindley, and Susan Stone, with gratitude for them keeping us going all these years. 25? I'm not sure I have the right number there. So thank you to all. We're going to begin with a meditation. I want to acknowledge Lama Willa Blythe Baker, who developed this meditation she calls Earth Body Shamatha, or tranquility meditation. And it's loosely based on her meditation, but I certainly want to acknowledge her sharing this. And let's begin. So I invite you to find a seat where you can feel comfortable and yet upright. It might mean moving the shoulders or the hips or the legs. I invite you to scan through the body, beginning at the top of the body. Just noticing if there are any places where you're holding some tension. Sometimes it's around the eyes or the mouth. And allowing the jaw to drop open can relax a bit. Oftentimes they hold tension in the neck and shoulders. You might allow with an exhale a release of any holding there. Sort of the sense that gravity is just sliding down our backs and helping us to settle. Allowing the arms to hang loosely, the hands to land where they should, whether that's palms up, palms down, what feels right. Just scanning down the body, noticing if there's any catch in the breath. Seeing if we can relax the belly. Feeling the place where our body is in contact with the solid surface. So our sits bones, sitting in our chair or cushion. Arms and hands on the legs. Feeling into that contact. What might feel like pressure, what might feel solid, stable. And sliding on down the legs. And notice how the feet are in contact with the earth. Feeling the weight and volume of this body. pressure. It's grounded. You might notice we're moving from the thinking mind up high into the feeling heart within the body. In this body, we're awake and aware because the body is grounded. It's in the present moment. It's honest. It's relaying how we truly feel. And it's non-conceptual, not thinking, we're just being. Think of this mind releasing into the body. It can be helpful to think of the mind as a handful of salt and the body full of warm water. Just releasing that salt dissolves into the warm water, flows into the entire body. This whole body awareness. When we make this body our object of awareness, our home base, it can be a refuge. Where we feel solid, stable, present, when the body's our home base, we can return to this refuge over and over. It can be our temple. And we can take this body-centered awareness with us as we go about our day. Walking down a path, aware of a sense of gravity. Pulling our awareness into the body like a magnet pulling iron filings. Grounded and centered in the body, while aware of all that's arising and passing away around us. So the invitation is to take this sense of groundedness and presence in the body and take it with you, or a walking meditation or a standing meditation, lying down. I invite you to, in just a moment, look it up and walk down the hall towards the kitchen, go out the door to the right if you want to be outside, or just stay in the hallway. And bring your attention over and over again back to the home base of this body-centered awareness. We'll do this for about 10 minutes, and I'll ring the bell when it's time to come back. Whether that's slow or moderate for you,
Feeling ourselves coming back home to the body, as though coming back to a home base, a true refuge. Taking a deep breath, and on the exhale, allowing your attention to fill out the entire body. And another deep breath. And on the exhale, allowing your attention to become fully open and panoramic, opening the senses with a panoramic view, the body centered, solid, a refuge. The view broad, open, spacious. Observing everything that's arising and abiding and passing. May we have compassion for ourselves and for others in this unprecedented time. May we discern with wisdom what is true and speak and act skillfully. May we trust that we're doing the best we can. May we know that we can always begin again. May we have the courage to ask for support when we need it, and to offer support from a resourced body, heart, and mind. May we forgive ourselves and each other for our humanity. And may we remember when we forget. Appreciating any benefits of this practice and sharing those with one another and with all beings everywhere, without exception.
wonder if there was any sense of walking around with this body as a refuge as you were doing your walking meditation. And you don't have to admit if there wasn't, that happens too. But any sense of that? Anybody would like to share? But come back and visit it. I find it grows on me, and the body feels more alive every time I do it. And sometimes I can be walking down the path next to the river, and I'm here, and I'm appreciating the birds and the sun and the river. It's all happening at once. So come back and visit it. So today I wanted to talk about faith in the midst of groundlessness, because my life's a little groundless right now, and I think that applies to many, many people right now. So it's a scary time. It's an unprecedented time. So I decided I was going to go back and revisit the topic that I talked about the very first time I did a Dharma talk at IMCC. It was about faith, because I was sort of startled to find that I really appreciated this faith in Buddhism. I talked about the 5 spiritual faculties in Buddhism. Faith is one, the others are energy, mindfulness, concentration, and wisdom. And these 5 faculties work together, balanced by mindfulness, to help us awaken. So in 2020, I reflected on what brought me to my faith in Buddhism. Because my relationship with religion growing up was pretty fraught. I had difficulty believing in a religion that was hierarchical and had no space for women as leaders. And like so many who are drawn to Buddhism, I was suffering, dealing with a lot of personal losses. So I was drawn to the Buddha's assurance that we should try on these practices for ourselves. It said that he said, "Don't believe anything just because I've said it. Don't believe anything just because the elder or someone you respect has said it. Put it into practice. See for yourself if it is true." So my intuition and my experience told me that I could trust this kind of faith, that these practices were useful to me, and that they respected my agency as a person. Sharon Salzberg, in her wonderful book titled Faith, defines faith this way. She says, "Faith does not require a belief system and is not necessarily connected to a deity or God, though it doesn't deny one. This faith is not a commodity we either have or don't have. It's an inner quality that unfolds as we learn to trust our own deepest experience." So in Buddhism, abiding faith develops when we have the capacity to trust ourselves in ways that are supportive and help us discern the truth. And this generally entails taking refuge in the Buddha, the Dharma, and the sangha. I think early on, I was more drawn to the intellectual faith, and I took refuge in the Dharma. I loved the teachings. I thought that if I just understood these teachings through reading and sutta study, enough mindfulness and reason, I could change my mind and give myself some peace. The 4 Noble Truths appealed to my search for solace and relief from suffering. So I think in those days, I took refuge in the Dharma, in the teachings, in the truth. And over time, I feel as though my perspective has evolved a bit, that I've come to believe that faith is more a matter of the heart than of the intellect. In Pali, the term for faith is saddha. It literally means to put your heart into something, also devotion and confidence. And in time, I've found refuge in the Buddha, the belief that we all have a Buddha nature, this sacred spark in each of us the Dalai Lama says that at the heart of the Buddhist teachings lies the idea that the potential for awakening and perfection is present in every human being, and that it's a matter of personal effort to realize that potential. So refuge in the Buddha, to me, means that we stop looking for happiness out there, that here is where we find liberation, that we embody the teachings, we marinate in them, we hear them, we practice them, we try them on, we take them into our own hearts and lives and experience. We build some confidence that we can be with all aspects of ourselves, a growing sense of ease and spaciousness. We start to trust that we can be free. So having faith in my own experience as a source of awakening. And this is a refuge that we can carry with us, just as perhaps you carried those little retreat huts with us during our walking meditation. And then finally, my faith in the refuge of sangha also has really grown. And that has been, the experience of being here at IMCC has been incredible. And with other sanghas as well, but I've really found here this trustworthy place of refuge. You know, being with others who share this spiritual path, who help us keep on the path. Even when COVID and leadership struggles threatened our ability to continue, this community was resilient, generous, and stayed devoted to the teachings of the Dharma. So I have faith in this sangha because my experience has shown that this community is devoted. This sangha is a place of refuge because lots of people. Sharon keeps showing up to help us find the answers for ourselves. Teresa will be here to write us or read us a wise and lovely poem. Jean will be our wise sage, encouraging each of us to grow. Susan Stone will remind us that it all comes down to love. Matt will share Tibetan wisdom, kindness, and authenticity. Anna and Laura will remind us to have compassion for ourselves and others, and to be brave enough to ask for help when we need it. Pat and Latifa will help us explore our ways of knowing with wonder. Susan Kaufman, Judy Harmon, Sarah Adams, Nancy Elizabeth will keep us connected to social action so that our community can offer real help. Meals, rides, clothing for people who are homeless, and racial justice. Sidna, Jan, the welcome team, Bob, the whole team create a refuge of community that we feel as soon as we walk in the door. And Brianna Patton and John Wilson kindly and wisely serve as the backbone of our organization. So Thich Nhat Hanh said that if we are a drop of water and we try to get to the ocean as only an individual drop, we will surely evaporate along the way. To arrive at the ocean, you must go as a river, and the sangha is your river. So we need to do this together. So refuge in the Buddha, the Dharma, and the sangha can give us an abiding, confirmed faith, and that's what we lean on when times are tough, like these. Kanzi says that the opposite of faith is worry, the state of being troubled by many things. Anybody felt worried lately? Troubled by many things. Yet in time, if we can find a way to take refuge in the teachings and the sangha and the Buddha nature, we can choose faith over worry. So right now, many of us feel unsettled about the state of the world. And personally, as many of you know, my life is full of change and uncertainty too. You may have heard that I will be making a big change this summer. And in August, my husband, Dan, and I will be moving to North Carolina and just down by Asheville. And it's a huge transition that brings a lot of challenges and sadness about leaving old friends and the home that we love in Charlottesville. And it brings the excitement of new adventure and finding the trails and waterfalls in the mountains there, our new neighborhood. And so importantly, our youngest daughter, Rosie, and her husband, Jesse, are there. So it feels as though the upheaval that this transition creates is magnified by the chaotic socio-political environment that's around us, where changes in government and communities are happening in ways that we never could have imagined. It's a sense, for some of us, a sense of groundlessness. What's going to happen? Will our government survive as we know it? Will our neighbors, people in conflict zones all over the world, be okay? Will the services and supports we rely on be there for us when we need them? Will our country be a benevolent, democratic world leader? And personally, will we be as happy in North Carolina as we are here? Can we really start over again at our age? Can we create a tight and loving community there as we did here? Lots of questions. And the answer really is maybe, maybe not, we'll see. Now, there's an oft-repeated Chinese proverb that I know many of you have heard, and feel free to jump in as I say it, but it really makes my point, so I'm going to say it again. A farmer's horse runs away and his neighbors tell him it's bad luck. The farmer replies, maybe so, maybe not, we'll see. The next day, the horse returns with several wild horses, which the neighbors say is good luck. And the farmer again says, maybe so, maybe not, we'll see. Later, the farmer's son tries to ride one of the wild horses and breaks his leg. And the neighbors say that this is bad luck. And the farmer replies, maybe so, maybe not, we'll see. And finally, the conscription officers come to take young men in the army, but they spare the son because of his broken leg. The neighbors say it's good luck. The farmer responds, maybe so, maybe not, we'll see. The fact is, we don't really know. We could experience huge changes in our nation. And how does faith carry us through when the world and the country as we know it feels as though it's crumbling around us? The teacher last summer, said, we've never been here before, and there may not be a right way to do this. May this be a place of refuge. So these lessons on faith, how do they apply in our lives as we live in this scary world? How does faith carry me through this move from Virginia to North Carolina? The thought of leaving Charlottesville brings a sort of grief. It's a loss, leaving behind our network of friends, particularly my spiritual friends, leaving behind the places where I walk and eat and play music and listen to bluegrass. It's enough to make you question your decision to make a change. And as I contemplate this move and wonder whether I can make new friends and build a community, I'm comforted by my experience of moving to Charlottesville 8 years ago and knowing no one. And later, 8 years later, our community is full and rich. We found sangha. We feel a sense of belonging because wonderful communities have welcomed us in and supported us. Our neighbors, my yoga friends, this wonderful sangha, full of kind people. So there's a desire to recreate what we have here. But I'm not sure that's possible. Maybe so, maybe not. I realize that it's holding on to the familiar, to what I have now, to what I can't imagine letting go of that causes the suffering. At some point, I realized that I might need to be open to the possibility of dissolution, it might all go away. And acknowledge that things might end. They will end. And that might make way for something new. Perhaps my new community won't be as it is here. Is that a bad thing? Maybe so, maybe not. We'll see. I see this clearly in the public sphere too. The whole idea of, as we watch things changing, the federal spending cuts are decimating the programs where I spent 30 years building for victims of domestic violence. And the dream job that I had running the federal grants office for domestic violence shelters, the director was just let go, suddenly eliminated. The CDC Office on Prevention of Violence Against Children and Intimate Partners, abolished. There's a mourning that comes with that, heartbreak over the hard-won efforts to establish those programs and to reach underrepresented communities, gone. And in the midst of this loss, as my former colleagues were waiting to hear whether they were going to have the axe fall on them, one woman, one of my dear colleagues, stepped forward as a leader in this new world where we can't count on anything being the way it was. And she dared to ask the question, what will the programs do if federal funds are eliminated? She said, I firmly believe, and it's been proven over and over again, that obstacles are an opportunity for growth. As awful as all this political stuff is and the impact it's having on our daily lives and our programs, it also can be used as an opportunity for growth. I'd love to brainstorm with all of us on the email chain to find what this may mean for domestic violence programs, for the domestic violence movement. How can we do things differently? Wow, right? Opening to the possibility that we might not be able to keep it the way it was and continue living the way we have, no matter how hard we fight and resist change. This is the question that we're afraid to ask. We cling so tightly to what we know and the way things are and the way we want them to be. We suffer because we're sure they should remain the same or just grow bigger. But what happens if we contemplate dissolution? This is a poem from Jane Hirshfield. No wind, no rain. The tree just fell, as a piece of fruit does. But no, not fruit, not ripe, not fell. It broke, it shattered. One cone's addition of resinous cell sap, one small-bodied bird arriving to tap for a beetle, it shattered. What word, what act was it we thought did not matter? So things may shatter. They may not be the way they are now. Change may not be just incremental adjustments anymore. The way things are might dissolve. Ajahn Chah, the Thai forest master, is known for telling of a story where he would hold up a drinking glass and he would say, see this glass? This is my favorite glass. And he said, to me, this glass is already broken. I have no illusion that it's permanent. But while it's here, I can enjoy it and appreciate it. But not holding on and thinking it's going to last forever. It's already broken. So contemplating the ending, this is difficult, right? Knowing it's so. What's our relationship to change like this? Do we feel ourselves grabbing on? I know I do. Do we fight it? Can we allow our meditation practice to give us some refuge as we contemplate this ever-changing world? In my last week, Lucia McBee talked about the 5 remembrances. And I'll just mention a bit about them, that they remind us that everything is impermanent. And it suggested that we should contemplate every day the impermanence of aging, ill health, and death. And the 4th remembrance, the one that's always been hardest for me, is that all that is near and dear to me and everyone I love are of the nature to change. There is no way to escape being separated from them. I just have to mention over the past 10 days, we've experienced some losses. Our dear dog Winnie died after 13 years. We sold the home we love, although we'd be staying there for a few more months. And I realized the very hardest part of those losses was the time leading up to them. The agony of making a difficult choice, questioning our decisions, trying to imagine life on the other side without a pet, without our home here. If I open to the possibility of dissolution or the certainty of change, what then? Well, that's when faith comes in. Not faith that I'll be able to fight back the change and prevent it from happening, and not faith that I can recreate my life in Charlottesville somewhere else, but faith in change, impermanence, love, the certainty of aging and death, the confidence that I carry within me, this Buddha nature, the truth of the teachings, the sangha, our refuges. Anam Thupten Rinpoche says, there are many beautiful visualization practices in Buddhism. Most powerful, visualize that you are losing everything and learn to surrender to that. Learn to be compassionate and content. The truth is that we're going to lose everything in the end. It's just a matter of time. Don't seek nirvana in the future. Find nirvana in nowness. It is the state that you will find yourself in upon complete surrender. Complete surrender. Surrendering to I don't know mind. So being with uncertainty in our lives and in this country requires releasing our attachment to any particular outcome. So what's faith in times like these? I look at the fifth remembrance, which says that my actions are my only true belongings. I cannot escape the consequences of my actions, karma. My actions are the ground upon which I stand. So we understand that our karma results from the causes and conditions, everything that's come before, everything that's led to this moment. But also, my actions in this moment can alter the future trajectory of karma going forward. Everything's brought us here. What do I do now? If my actions are the ground upon which I stand, how do I choose to act? Maria Popova says, these days, I'm less certain I will see the rosy outcome I would like, but I am more determined to meet the future with the best version of myself. That's something I can believe in. Can I take refuge in truth, compassionate presence, and sangha, and bring to this unruly and unpredictable world the best version of myself? I can't fix the whole world, but can I move forward with compassion and equanimity? In times of groundlessness, we live our faith by making space for our grief, being brave enough to feel it fully. We live our faith by learning to be with uncertainty and releasing our attachment to any particular outcome, the don't know mind. We can act with discernment about wise speech and actions. Bas Sarmiento suggests that when we act we should ask ourselves, is it coming from a place of generosity or of obligation? When I act, am I creating connection or division? And we live our faith by acknowledging that it's okay to not have all the answers. We're human. Remembering that even though we may not have the answers, we're not alone. We may need to be better resourced before we can help others. And we need to ask, what's my capacity in any given moment, and ask for help. And we need to come together in sangha to help one another. It's this being human. I'm going to wrap up with a poem from Dana Faltz called Let It Go. Let go of the ways you thought life would unfold, the holding of plans or dreams or expectations. Let it all go. Save your strength to swim with the tide. The choice to fight what is here before you now will only result in struggle, fear, and desperate attempts to flee from the very energy you long for. Let go. Let it all go and flow with the grace that washes through your days, whether you receive it gently or with all your quills raised to defend against invaders. Take this on faith. The mind may never find the explanations that it seeks, but you will move forward nonetheless. Let go, and the wave's crest will carry you to unknown shores, beyond your wildest dreams or destinations. Let it all go and find the place of rest and peace and certain transformation. Take this on faith. The mind may never find the explanations that it seeks, but you will move forward nonetheless. A heavy topic. We're going to finish with a song. Barbara Martin, thankfully, is going to accompany us. So
I'll call you back in a minute.
this is, get your, oh, here. Yeah, we'll use this one.
I'm gonna do it with Daddy.
Yeah.
Don't
Can you raise it up?
Yeah.
All right.
And you're going to get your,
Where's Daddy?
all right, give us a minute, get all
I know.
situated.
What?
So this is a chant from the Thich Nhat Hanh community. I love the themes, learned it from Lost Sarmiento, and thought it fit for tonight. So we'll sing it through once and then ask you to join in a couple more times. Brianna, will you turn off this mic? I think we better just use one.
You're not going to stand in front of the mic? Okay. Breathing in, breathing out, breathing in, breathing out. I am blooming as a flower, I am fresh as the dew, I am solid as a mountain, I am firm as the earth, I am free. Breathing in, breathing out, breathing in, breathing out. I am water reflecting what is real, what is true. And I feel there is a space
deep inside of me. I am free, I am free, I am free.
So please join in.
Breathing in, breathing out, breathing in, breathing out. I am blooming as a flower, I am fresh as the dew. I am solid as a mountain, I am firm as the earth, I am free. Breathing in, breathing out, breathing in, breathing out. I am water reflecting what is real, what is true. And I feel there is a space deep inside of me. I am free, I am free, I am free.
One more time.
Breathing in, breathing out, breathing in, breathing out. I am blooming as a flower, I am fresh as the dew. I am solid as a mountain, I am firm as the earth. I am free, I am free, I am free. Whoops. Breathing in, breathing out, breathing in, breathing out. I am water reflecting what is real, what is true. And I feel there is a space deep inside of me. I am free, I